Alright, you guys, so I'm here to review Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, aka Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, depending on what country you're in. Quick little story here before we get into this review. I am a big Harry Potter fan. I am a Harry Potter fanboy. I'm not afraid to admit that. I grew up on Harry Potter. I read all the books as they were coming out when I was growing up. I saw all the movies in theaters as I was growing up. In fact, I think the first two movies I went on a school field trip, and then after that, I went with friends and family, and stuff like that. And yeah, big Harry Potter fanboy. And fun fact for you: the Harry Potter series are the only books that I've read all the way through, aside from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But yes, aside from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, Harry Potter is the only series of books that I've read all the way through because I'm not a big book person. So yeah, so these reviews are going to be biased as hell. But I do love these movies, and with Review King MB, Mike Brown, shout out to you. I doubt you're watching my videos because you have better things to do with your life than sit and watch me on YouTube. But anyway, he's a good dude. He's sitting down and he's watching the Harry Potter movies for the first time, and he's forking out his reviews on his channel, Review King MB. And there's really nothing else to review right now. I figured, why not? This is the time to review Harry Potter. And like I said, I'm going to be biased in these reviews because I am a Harry Potter fanboy. Let's talk about the plot of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Or Philosopher's Stone, whatever country you happen to be in. Basically, the storyline is we meet Harry Potter, and when he was a baby, his parents were killed by a dark wizard, he who must not be named at this time, and he gets dropped off on the doorstep of his aunt and uncle's house, where he's going to be raised until he's 11 years old. And when he's 11, he will get accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Well, he will learn that he is a wizard and use he will learn how to use magic. And the plot of this movie, in particular, is that when Harry Potter gets to Hogwarts, he finds out that one of the teachers is trying to steal the Sorcerer's Stone, and he has to stop this teacher at all costs. So, what do I think of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? I absolutely love this movie. Like I said, I grew up on this stuff. Looking back now, after all the other ones have come out, this one's not like my personal favorite, but it is really, really good. The first two movies were more directed towards kids, and then by the time the third one hit and all the ones after that, they got a little bit darker, and they were more for adults. Talk about growing up with a movie. We grew up with Harry Potter. I was about the same age as Daniel Radcliffe and them were when they started this first movie. I was around the same age, give or take a year or two. So I literally grew up with these characters. I grew up with these guys. So let's talk about the cast. Well, there's a lot of cast to talk about in these movies, and I'm sure I'll cover most of them as we go. But let's talk about the core cast of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and just Harry Potter in general. Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. You can tell this kid was having fun. He was excited that he got this role. He's a likable guy in the character of Harry Potter. Same thing with Emma Watson as Hermione Granger, Rupert Grint as Ron Weasley. Then you get some actors in here that you might recognize, like Alan Rickman is playing Professor Severus Snape, who teaches potions, and Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall. She teaches Transfiguration, and Michael Griffith is, I think, the guy who played the first Dumbledore in the first two movies. I'll talk about that a little bit later. He's really good in this movie. Then you get some other people in here, like Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy. You get a whole bunch of people in this series. So, let's talk about some of the positives. The positives is, first off, I want to mention, because I'm probably going to forget at some point, John Williams' score. John Williams does iconic themes for iconic movies. Is Harry Potter an iconic movie? It's not Star Wars iconic, it's not Jaws iconic, but it's definitely something that I absolutely love and I grew up with. And his score, every time you hear it, you're just taken into that mystical, magical world of Harry Potter. And John Williams always does that. And yeah, the movie's directed by Chris Columbus, and like I said, the first two are directed toward, it's more of a kid's film, family film, whatever. and it's actually still really entertaining. As an adult, it's still entertaining. Um, yeah, like I said, the characters are likable aside from a few of them, but we'll talk about them. Uh, but they're not supposed to be likable, those characters. But the ones that are supposed to be likable, you do like them, and you. This is the kind of movie where you kind of wish you were there, but at certain points of the movie, you kind of wish you weren't. Like you're glad you're not there, kind of thing. Like there's a three-headed dog, and there's trap doors, and there's Devil's Snare. Devil's Snare will get you. Um, then you got Wizard's Chess, which that doesn't look very fun. But yeah, there's all kinds of the Forbidden Forest, which is strictly forbidden to all students. Um, but anyway, I'm sure I'm going to be using a lot of Harry Potter quotes in these reviews. But let's talk about some of the characters that aren't that likable. Like you get Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, Dudley, Dursley, yeah, Harry Potter's family that he was raised by. They're assholes. They're dicks. They're not likable characters. You're not supposed to like them, but the actors who played them are really good in their roles because you really don't like them. So that's good. Severus Snape, I want to talk about him. If you guys have never read the books, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Alan Rickman as Severus Snape, he played the character that Snape was supposed to be in this first movie perfectly. He's mysterious. There's something not right about him. The whole movie, you think he's the one that wants the Sorcerer's Stone, and, Alan Rickman made that believable. Like, you could think that Alan Rickman would want this Sorcerer's Stone. He did a good job there. Rubius Hagrid, the guy who plays Rubius Hagrid, Robert, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's really good. Maggie Smith is, of course, Maggie Smith. She's fucking great. There's just too many people to talk about. I know I'm going to forget a bunch, but I'll try to remember most of them as we go along. I do want to talk about Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy. What an asshole. Yeah, but at least Draco Malfoy is an asshole that I like. I mean, you could argue for the first few movies that he is a little too annoying, but, he grows out of that. But he is still an asshole, and I do like him as an asshole. I don't really like the Dursleys that much as an asshole, except for maybe Dudley. Dudley's about the only Dursley that I could probably deal with. But, yeah. This movie's so much fun. The special effects, and this was like 2001 when this first movie came out. The special effects, they were okay. Like, some spots, especially like when they were doing Quidditch, there was a couple spots where you could see, like, the green screen and, stuff like that. But for the most part, I think the special effects are great. Especially in this world, you can really feel like this is a world that exists out there somewhere. So, bravo to you, Chris Columbus. Bravo to the cast. Obviously, I love this movie. I'm going to try not to make these reviews as long as the movies are, and the runtime of these movies are really no problem. Like, you're watching it, and it really doesn't bother you. It's not one of those movies that, like, drags out, like, oh, come on, get to it already. No, you're pretty much into it. But anyway, I'm going to try not to make these reviews too long. Obviously, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is getting a high rating from me. I'm going to give Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I'm going to give it a solid B. Yeah, I think a B is a fair enough rating for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's a very, very good one, and I absolutely loved it as a kid, and I love it as an adult, but it's the later ones that I would put first. There's some of the later ones that I would rank higher, but we'll talk about them as we go along. So, guys, what do you think of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. And yeah. Well, see you later.